Perfect. So I just want to start off by asking, how has it felt now that it's been officially announced that you'll be the next president of Wartburg?
It is incredibly exciting. My husband and I are thrilled to be able to join this family. I am so excited to serve as your 18th president, and I look forward to all the things that we'll do together.
For sure. And one of the biggest parts of you becoming the next president of this college is that you will be the first female president. So how does that feel?
I hope that every woman on this campus feels empowered. I will do my best to lead everyone on this campus, and I'm excited that the search committee thought I was the best candidate. But I also know that this is a moment and that people are excited about it, so it makes me feel really privileged and excited.
Yeah, that's a really big deal. And why is it significant that you are the first female leader of a college campus here in the entirety of this college? Why is that? What does that mean?
So as we think of inclusive excellence, we think of everyone of any identity having the same opportunities as one another. So when I think about the opportunity to lead in the space that you have a new president who's a woman, I think about that lifting up diverse identities for everyone on campus that is from a diverse identity, or from whether that be gender, whether that be LGBTQ, whether that be our students that identify as Black and brown. Those are important things to be thinking about. And so I hope that the choice of a woman president will help everyone on campus feel empowered that identities matter.
For sure. And that actually leads into my next question is, why is diversity on this campus so important?
I don't think it's just important on this campus. I think it's important in our world. And as we look back on the last 2 years, we know that right now, being able to lift up identities is an important part of who people are, respecting, empowering, bringing dignity, humility, curiosity around the way that people show up in the world will be important for everyone on this campus, in our communities, and in our world.
For sure. And what specific things do you plan to do once you take the role of the presidency to make sure that diversity is of the utmost importance?
So I'll begin by sharing things I've done so far. The first is to show up, to be present, to listen, to learn, to be vulnerable, to think about my own privilege and how I present in the world as I'm thinking about the privileges that I have had. Showing up, though, I think on campus means that I am in the space with everyone who is learning and growing together. So as your president, my intentionality will be around being there and being with you. The experiences I've had are that the students are incredible in this work. And so I also want to support the students and make sure they see me as being a primary supporter of the hard work we're all going to do together.
Yeah, for sure. And there are many groups of minority students on this campus, and how do you plan to learn from them and support them?
And the first I would say is to be present, to be available, to plan meetings with them, and to listen. I think listening will be, especially for the first 6 months of my presidency, a very important trait that I will bring all of you.
Yes. All right. And then, what are some of your goals as the next president of Wartburg?
My first goal, as I stated this morning, is to learn the cultures, the values, and the traditions of this campus. I am not coming here to make great changes. I am coming here first to learn and to listen, to really value and lift up the incredible work that has been done by the people that came before me. I look at President Colson, the hard work he's done, the hard work that all of you have done. And I'm going to come first to respect and acknowledge the incredible work that's happened, and then work together with this community to write the next chapter.
For sure. And once you take the role of the presidency over, what is the first thing that you want to do?
The first thing I want to do is get to know people, is to build relationships, to find out who Wartburg is, who are the people, what are the programs, and I've studied those things, but now I'll have the chance to be here with all of you. So I'm excited to get to know this community, to get to know the Waverly community, and truly understand these values and traditions that we hold dear at Wartburg.
For sure. And you've already touched on this a little bit, but President Colson has been here for a very long time. How do you plan to build on his legacy, all the things he's accomplished during his 16 years?
The first thing is to stay connected to him. And so to begin my presidency, I'm actually planning to come before I'm scheduled to begin, to spend 2 to 3 weeks very closely working with President Colson to make sure the transition is very smooth, to make sure I understand the decisions that have been made, and to really carry forth the projects and the ideas that Dr. Colson has initiated. He's done incredible work here, and I think to carry on his legacy will be an important part of my presidency.
For sure. And then sort of the opposite of that, what are some things that you would like to see change around here from what you've noticed so far?
So I would honestly tell you that those things have been decided. I was in the car with my husband driving here, reading the entire strategic plan, And it's very obvious to me that your campus community has done our campus community has done an incredible job of asking the hard questions of what the next steps are and what changes and opportunities we will face together. So instead of me determining changes, I will look to the hard work that's been done in this community to build the next strategic plan as opportunities for growth.
For sure. All right, and then I also wanted to go a little bit into your background because I thought it was really interesting that you actually started your work as an occupational therapist.
I did.
So what has that transition like, starting as an occupational therapist and then becoming the dean of a college?
Mm-hmm.
What has that transition been like?
So if you know anything about occupational therapists, our job in life is to look at anything, a person, their ability to move, to walk, to feed themselves, to do their hair, and ask the question, how can we make it better? How can we adapt this situation to optimize somebody's ability to participate in their lives? Mm-hmm. That mindset, that way of thinking as an occupational occupational therapist, has been an incredible asset to me as an academic, as a faculty member, as a leader, as a dean, as a department chair, because every time I'm faced with a situation, I think, how can we make this better? How can we actually make this work better? How can we make this feel better? How can we optimize the outcome so that all of us have a great opportunity? So being an OT has helped me think differently, adapt, pivot. During COVID, it was really interesting to me to know that I had worked in a trauma center, and as an OT, I could pivot really quickly. When we needed to make a change, I thought about it and brought it to the team and said, what do you think about moving in this direction to make this better for all of us? And so those skill sets of an occupational therapist have really been helpful to me in my leadership roles.
Sure. And do you still practice that today, or have you moved more into administrative roles?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So I'm a certified hand therapist, which means I have treated patients. I worked in a trauma center. So I worked with patients who had their arms cut off and put back on, to someone who broke their wrist or broke a finger. I have worked with people that have sustained gunshot wounds, that have had knife accidents to their hands caught in grinders, you name it, augers. As I enter the farm community, people that have gotten their arms caught in augers. I have seen a lot of trauma, and that's the type of hand therapist I was. So I love hand therapy. I loved being a hand therapist. And so my work in Guatemala, I continue to treat children in Guatemala with congenital limb differences once every 18 months. And as your president, I will continue to carry out that medical outreach in Guatemala once about every 18 months. And it was interesting in the session we just had, the question of how to find opportunities for Wartburg students in that space as well.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Mm-hmm. And you've been to Guatemala maybe 16 or 18 times, I heard?
I've been to Guatemala 18 times. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, wow. And what are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned from your experiences there?
I've learned a lot about privilege. I've learned a lot about the things that I take for granted every single day. I remember the first time we went to the village, and it was clear to me that I think about a kitchen. My kitchen has a refrigerator. My kitchen has countertops. My kitchen has a stove that I can put pans on so that the kids that are in my home, they aren't in my home, but kids that would be in my home wouldn't be able to get to the countertop to get a pot of boiling water. The first time I went to the village in Guatemala, it was very clear to me that none of those things exist for a lot of people in our world. And so I would tell you that I never thought about my toilet being a privilege. But understanding the health that we enjoy, the privilege of health that we enjoy because of our sanitation systems, because of kitchens that are safe for children to be in, it was an incredible moment in my life where I thought it fundamentally changed the way I think about the most basic things that we have that we probably have never thought about as being privileges. But it also taught me a lot about people's curiosity and willingness to learn and grow. We have built the Guatemalan Hand Therapy Association and worked with therapists in Guatemala and brought them to the United States and helped to train them. And fundamentally, all people in their lives want to learn and grow and be part of something, and to use the words of the Wartburg mission statement around leadership and service, challenging and nurturing, really thinking about that all people hope to have those opportunities in their life. And education and healthcare are privileges, and affording those privileges to people around the world is something that I'm really passionate about.
For sure. And then you are currently, or most recently, are you still in that role as the Dean of the School of Health Sciences?
I'm the Dean of the School of Health Sciences at Elon University presently. Mm-hmm.
And how has that role impacted you moving on to become the president of Wartburg?
Mm-hmm. I would say there's probably three fundamental things I've learned in my role as a dean. The first is around executing a strategic plan. So very early in my time at Elon, it was my job to think about what programs the School of Health Sciences would need to help it move into the future. And we established nursing as something we were going to lift up to the strategic planning committee. That idea was accepted. We then built a feasibility study, looked at all aspects of the program, We built the program, we went through the accreditation process, we did all the hiring, and we did all the renovation to make our campus ready for nurses to join. That building and executing a strategic plan has been an incredible skill set that I've learned at Elon that I'm excited to bring here to Wartburg and to share some of those great lessons I've learned about how to actually execute a strategic plan with annual priorities and keeping those goals in mind. When I first got to Elon, I would say way before, so this is 5 years ago, Elon is known for inclusive excellence. And so I was exposed at a very early stage in my career at Elon to what a campus looks like that is truly integrated inclusive excellence as a value that we hold. So being in those spaces, learning, listening, being part of the careful work, that shared responsibility of examining ourselves and listening and accepting the identities of others, that is another thing I've really learned at Elon. Finally, I would say being at a place where there's a great history of a college that has been transformed and all the pieces and parts it took to transform a college into a nationally renowned, maybe even world-renowned university has been interesting to observe. And so I've really studied a very huge success story in higher education, and that has helped me to learn and grow as an administrator. I think those pieces, strategic planning, inclusive excellence, and really thinking about transformation as we continue to think about the next chapters of Wartburg, I think those will serve me well as your 18th president.
Yeah, for sure. And then moving on to some Wartburg specific questions. What do you think makes Wartburg worth it?
So if you ask me what I think makes Wartburg worth it, and this is based on my experience in the last 3 weeks, it's the people. This for me has been a community of great care, of great commitment, of passion. People here are really proud of the incredible work that Wartburg has done and the incredible opportunities Wartburg has created, not only for your alumni, but for the current students, faculty, and staff. I've been amazed, even the Board of Regents, everyone is so committed to this place. And if you ask me what I believe makes Wartburg worth it, it's the people, it's the relationships. It's a place that you will come to be challenged and nurtured by people who really care about you.
Yeah, for sure. And then Wartburg is a Lutheran school. It's a member of the ELCA. And both of your parents actually taught at Lutheran school. So what does it mean to you that now you are going to be the president of one?
Yeah, it's a really exciting moment in my life, and I feel like God has a plan for all of us. And so as I think about my upbringing, my father was the principal of my Lutheran grade school that over the years that we were there transitioned to ELCA, and so my dad was part of those transitions. But that fundamental idea of being part of a community, the Lutheran community, and really integrated in all aspects of that, I'm thrilled for that. That's how I was raised. The idea that Mike and I will be on campus and in the dining hall and at athletic events and at cultural events, music events, but even just walking the dogs on campus, we're really excited to be a part of that type of community. And it's the community I was born and raised in, and so it's very familiar to me. And even just coming to chapel, hearing the choir sing today, these beautiful faith traditions are such an incredible part of learning for all the students at Wartburg, and we're thrilled to be a part of it.
For sure. And then another big important thing about Wartburg is that it's a liberal arts college. And so what does it mean to you to be the president of a liberal arts college? How is that different from other colleges or state schools?
So when I think about the liberal arts tradition, I think about social discourse. I think about critical and creative thinking. I think about the ability to treat others with dignity and respect and lift up the stories that others bring. When I think about that tradition of creativity and thinking and seeing the world, those types of ideas, building that liberal arts focus, that liberal arts tradition as part of a student's trajectory will make them better citizens of the world, will make them better equipped to be part of this world and to function within it. I said in my talk this morning around relationships, around workplaces, around communities. Our goal on these campuses is to build students and to prepare students that will have an impact in their community. And I believe in the vision statement, it talks about service in a complex world. It's a complex world out there, and those liberal arts foundations will equip students to succeed.
For sure. And then another super important aspect of Wartburg's campus culture is philanthropy and volunteering. And you are on the board of 3 different nonprofits. So how has that come to be, and why is philanthropy so important to you?
It's an interesting question. And I have to tell you, the thing that's not on that list is my husband and I during COVID, every Thursday night, we were in a food distribution program.
Oh, wow.
So in the early moments when everybody was in shelter in place, we asked the question, the fundamental question, how can we help? I have always approached my life as God has given me incredible gifts. How will I use them to serve others? And so this is from my upbringing in the Lutheran Church and as part of my grade school and high school experiences, Guatemala, in the YMCA board and the hospice board that I'm a part of right now. that obligation to serve, to care about people. And it's interesting because I believe in the ELCA Rooted in Open document, it really talks about using your gifts so others may flourish. And those are part of the ethos of who I am and my husband is, and we're really excited to be part of a community that lifts those up as really important aspects of the student educational experience.
For sure. And then another very similar question, but vocation is another big part of Wartburg's mission. And how has vocation played a role in your own life?
I have always felt incredibly fortunate that every job, and I'll use the word job, every job that I've had has never just been a job for me. I loved being an occupational therapist and making a difference in the life of other people. It's fascinating that that concept of making a difference in the lives of others, for me, is my calling. So as an occupational therapist, a hand therapist, as a faculty member, department chair, dean, president, my goal on this campus will be to make a difference in the lives of other people, to help people reach their greatest potential. And that idea of vocation, for me, that is my calling. My hope always is that students that come to Wartburg will be able to explore and find the thing that they are called to do. I know that in my life, it has enriched my life to love the thing I'm doing as the thing I call my job or my work. And I would hope that our students here at Wartburg will also be able to explore and find their calling here.
For sure. And how do you plan to promote vocation once you become the president?
I think the first thing you have to do is offer students the opportunity to explore. So there's exploration and there's opportunity. A lot of students come to college thinking they know exactly what they want to do, and yet there are so many opportunities that we may not even be aware of. And so I think it's creating the space to really have students have mentors, have guides. My husband and I have spent a lot of time with students, and what we know is that you come to college and we think, I thought, and you may not think this, but when I got to college I thought, I'm an adult, I know exactly what I want to do, I know exactly what my future holds. And I'll be honest with you and say, almost 30 years later, my life has taken a direction that I never thought it would take. But it's also because I've been open to this idea of trying to find the things that I'm called to do. And so to empower young people that you don't have to figure it all out by the time you're 21 or 22, that there's time in life, and if you're equipped with the right skills, you will be able to build the path that is meaningful for you.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that does really display itself in your own life. I mean, you started as an occupational therapist, and look where you are now.
Exactly.
They're so different, but they're still related. So I think it's really incredible that you're able just to display that through action. All right, and then my next question is, obviously you've been in a lot of leadership positions throughout your life. And so what exactly does leadership mean to you?
For me, leadership means empowering others to find their greatest potential. I am not an authoritarian leader. It's not my job to tell people what to do. It's my job to work closely with others. Listening, you'll hear listening as a theme. My leadership teams would say that we come together and we ask questions and we challenge each other, we support each other, but we listen to each other. There's a great podcast my husband and I listen to about finding incredible leaders and getting out of the way and empowering them to do great work. So leadership for me entails finding incredible people, empowering them, supporting them, creating value for them, and then inherently success happens.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. And then what are you most excited for about becoming the 18th president of Wartburg?
I'm excited for the opportunity. I love to learn. I'm hungry, I'm curious. I know right now I've been saying that the things I need to learn about, I added a third one today. I need to learn a lot about Iowa. I need to learn a lot about wrestling. And today I learned that I maybe need to learn a little German. And so I have a lot to learn. I'm most excited to learn and grow with this community.
For sure. And then what do you want the Wartburg community to know about you?
I want the Wartburg community to know that I'm committed, that I'm passionate about hard work, that I will serve this community to the best of my capabilities, but that I'll also be in the work with you. You'll see me on campus. You'll see our dogs on campus. I'm a friendly, fun, engaged person. I love to have conversations with students and find out where you came from, what your goals are. What do you need? I know when I was on a college campus, I needed an adult just to talk to me, and you know, I needed that kind of guidance. And so I want the campus to know that I want to be really engaged with all of you and be a part of this community. My husband does as well, and we have 3 dogs that are ready to play with students all day long. So we'll be very excited to be here on campus and get pet and hugged and kissed, and so they're very excited too.
Oh my gosh, I have another question about the dogs later. I'm so excited. But I just lost my next question because I was thinking about the dogs. But so you are currently in North Carolina, correct? And when are you going to be moving to Wartburg? I know you start on July 1st, but what does that transition from North Carolina to Iowa look like for you?
So we were in Wisconsin before North Carolina, so we're used to the cold. We're
Good.
used to the weather, we're used to the snow, we've got the gear, so we're ready for those types of things. But the transition for us looks about mid-June, that we'll be coming to campus and being with President Colson and Christy Colson and starting to get to know the campus community. We'll be here for commencement. We'll be here for the Board of Regents around Memorial Day weekend. So really spending intentional time to learn the community and get to know all the people and the traditions of the campus.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then I also wanted to ask some questions just about you as a person so
Mhm.
people can get to know you on a personal level
Sure.
a little more. So what do you just like to do in your free time when you're not serving as the president?
I love to read. And so typically I've got about 3 books going. I've always got a book in my ears, so I've always got an audible book happening. I typically have a book on my Kindle, and I've got a hardcover book. Typically the hardcover book is some kind of a leadership or work-related book. The Kindle book and the books in my AirPods are going to be more fiction. I love historical fiction. There's a couple books that I've just really enjoyed. I shared one with my husband and my father-in-law recently, but I'm an avid reader. I like to cook. I love to have students over for my mother-in-law may come to campus, and we love to do brunches and make casseroles and biscuits and gravy and all sorts of crazy things. And so love to cook, love to entertain and host. Love to just spend time with people, getting to know them. And so that's really fun for me. My husband and I are very outdoorsy. We like to backpack and kayak, and I'm learning to fish. I'm not very good at it, but learning about the outdoors. And so went backpacking with students at Elon. Love to be outside, walking the dogs, and just enjoying nature, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And then, other than that, I think there's not a lot of free time left after being a president. So, but I'll be looking for opportunities where I can engage in spaces with students doing fun things together.
For sure.
Mhm.
And back to the cooking, what sort of things do you like to cook?
So I'm a comfort food person. I'm not super adventurous, but my niece and I have always talked about opening a sandwich shop that has homemade soups and sandwiches. So I'm really good at a grilled sandwich. I'm really good at a homemade soup. I'm learning to bake. So for me, during COVID, chocolate chip peanut butter oatmeal cookies were the thing of the moment. And I'm working on trying to create the right omelet. So really the fluffy omelet with cheese and all kinds of good stuff inside. So I'm a learner when it comes to the kitchen, but I'll make all the basic stuff and the simple things. My husband is a very adventurous cook, so he's going to use better flavors, better spices, and cook you things that are very interesting.
Ooh,
Mhm.
nice. All right, and then you mentioned your family a little bit too. So how are they spread out across the country? Are any of them in Iowa? What does that look like?
My whole family's in Chicago.
Wow.
So a brother and a sister, my mom and dad, my aunt and uncle, my entire family lives in Chicago. So less than 5 hours from here, which is really nice because it'll be much closer than North Carolina. We have a lot of good friends in Wisconsin, and so just kind of our trek from Waverly, Iowa towards my family, there's all sorts of people in between. Now that being said, we do have a lot of people that are from Iowa, and it's funny how people are coming out of the woodwork now that are Iowa natives. That one of my very good friends that I travel with, her husband is from here, and so he said, "Welcome to Iowa." So we're excited to become part of this community and learn more about Iowa.
For sure. And do you have any specific Wartburg connections before you came here and started interviewing for the position?
None.
Wow. Had you heard of Wartburg before?
I had heard of Wartburg. I was
Okay.
I was at Concordia University in Wisconsin, so I was aware of the Lutheran colleges and universities in the country. But no connections here.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's pretty incredible.
Mhm.
All right, and then the next question is about the dogs.
Yeah.
So you have 3 dogs, and what kind of dogs are they?
So we have a German wire-haired pointer named Plexi. She was, when my husband and I first met, we got her and I taught gross anatomy. So the brachial plexus is a network of nerves that control your arm and hand. And she had one spot kind of in her armpit, which is where your brachial plexus is. So we named her
Oh.
Plexi for short. And so that's how she got her name. A lot of people think it's plexiglass or something like that, but she actually was named for the nerves in your arm. And we have 2 young dogs. So we have 2 German short-haired pointers that are from the same litter. Mac is our girl dog, and then Cole we rescued. His first family didn't work out for him, so we rescued him. So Mac and Cole are our almost 2-year-old dogs. And so Mac and Cole are white with brown spots with brown heads, and Plexi is pretty much dark brown.
Cute. And where did the names Mac and Cole come from?
So that's a funny question. So my husband and I were in the car trying to think of names, and we thought we were going to get a boy dog. And so there's an old song called "Return of the Mac."
I'm familiar, yeah.
Yes, and so my husband and I both like that song, and so we actually thought, well, we'll just name the dog Mac. So that literally in the car one day we're listening to music and came up with that idea. And then Cole was a rescue, and so his family had named him Kolsch after the beer. And we thought that was a little bit of a mouthful, so we just shortened it to Cole, so just as not to make his life too difficult. So that's where that name came from.
Makes sense. And what sort of stuff do you like to do with the dogs?
So I will tell you that I think the dogs are the happiest about moving to Iowa. And I don't say that we're not happy, but they might be the happiest because in the past 48 hours, we have found wildlife areas within 20 to 30 minutes of Wartburg College. They have pushed pheasants, they have pushed woodcock, they have pushed ducks, they have pushed geese. They're really excited out on their collars and get to run out in the fields and do what they do best, which is hunting. And so they're very excited. There's not, I would say where we live in North Carolina is not proximate to many places for them to do the work that they love to do as dogs. And so we're really excited about them having those opportunities close by.
For sure. And then this next question is another bit of a personal question. But many people when they're younger have a dream job that they want to do when they're older. Did you ever have anything like that?
So it's an interesting question. When I was an athlete all through grade school and high school, and so when I went to Purdue University, I thought I was going to be an athletic trainer, and that didn't turn out the way I thought it was going to turn out. And so I dabbled a little bit in thinking about elementary education because my parents were both educators, and then I thought I would be a physical therapist. And a lot of athletes think about physical therapy as the next career step. As a kid, I was very creative, so I liked to make things and do crafts. And an occupational therapist came to the PT club meeting and demonstrated how to make splints and all the different ways that OTs create and adapt using their hands and using different tools. And that was it. I was going to be an OT and was really excited about it. So not too far off the path, kind of in that same rehabilitative principle, but it did have a little bit of a windy road to get there. Okay.
And if you think about childhood you, 5, 6, 7 years old, what do you think that person would think of you now?
That's a really good question. I was just a spunky runaround kid, and so I would say that energy level that I had at that age is probably the energy level I typically bring to my work in this day. So I think that person would go, yeah, that sounds about right.
Awesome. And then those are all the questions I had, but is there anything else you want the Wartburg College community to know?
I just hope that as we end this interview, I am thrilled to be chosen as your 18th president. We have incredible opportunity and work to do together, and I'm excited to join this community. And so my husband and I and all the dogs can't wait to be part of this family.
Oh my gosh, yes, and thank you. We're so excited to have you join.